How was the food, Tamra?
Amazing. I can't even remember the last time I ate this well.
I'm glad. You deserve so much more than this station has to offer. Now, let's talk about your friend Kazuda again.
I've told you everything. I had a feeling he was up to something, but I had no idea he was a resistance spy.
And your employer, Jarek Yeager?
There's no way Yeager's a spy. He came all the way out here to get away from the military.
I beg to differ.
You've never heard of the Millennium Falcon? Should I have? It's a ship that made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Kessel Run Weekly. My name is Danny.
And my name is Anna.
Hi, Anna! So, we are talking Resistance this week, guys.
Woohoo!
Something big happened, I think, this week, right?
A little thing.
a little bit. So we had the Resistance Season 1 season finale, guys. We finally wrapped up first season, and I didn't think I was going to make it through.
Me neither. It was a litlittle long before, but now it's exciting.
Absolutely. So, Anna, I want to go with your first impressions of just the season overall for right now, because I know we're going to get into the season finale and all that kind of stuff. But I want to know your journey with season 1, because I know we've talked about it a little bit.
Okay, so my first impressions, it felt like, you know, when R2 and 3PO are like walking through Tatooine and A New Hope, and they're just like that long walk, but then it's like, yes, we did it. We found who we were looking for. I felt like that, the sun glaring in the eyes, because I wasn't liking it at first, and I just felt myself like even betraying Filoni, which it killed me, like thinking that I didn't like something he made, but it was just like, it wasn't catching my attention at first. Mm-hmm. So, but it was good after.
Definitely. I agree with you too, because like it kind of broke my heart, because I wanted to love it so much, like against all of the things and everybody going, oh, this is going to be terrible and all this other kind of stuff. Like I wanted to love it so much. And then I think it got to just before you and I actually started talking about him. Yeah. And it was rough. Like I was like, look, I'm trying to love this, but you're not giving me anything to go on here.
Yep.
But and I completely agree with everything you had to say, though, because like I mean, it was a really long walk. It took a long time to really kind of set the characters, kind of get the feel for who Kazuda Xiono is and all the characters with him and everything. But oh my gosh, they finished strong.
Yes, it makes sense now, because like I felt in a moment where I could relate to Tam. Mm-hmm. To the point where like all this information, but if it wasn't for that long beginning that we had in the show, we wouldn't understand all those emotions that, for example, Tam is going through in that moment. Mm-hmm. So I catch it like going ahead, but it was just like that. Like now I understand why we needed to learn so much about Kaz and why we need to learn his journey and how we got here, and you even felt for the guy in the end. So, yeah. Absolutely.
I feel like if we didn't have, because that's the thing is I found myself wondering through the first half of the season if that they had cut some of the earlier episodes out or something like that, or some of the ones that, and Filoni always says that there's no filler episodes. Exactly. But if we would have cut some of those filler episodes out, I'd wondered if maybe we could get to where we're at. But to your point, I feel like it was absolutely necessary, especially with how everything landed in the end. It was just an aha moment for me. Like, oh, this is where we're going. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Filoni knows how to get us.
Absolutely.
It took a little while, this journey, but it was worth it. It was definitely worth it. It was a lot of stories, a lot of connection to old movies to new movies, so it was nicely done.
Absolutely, and I completely agree with you. So I guess let's go ahead, because I know we're kind of teasing everybody right now. Kind of like we know all the things, and I know you want to talk about it, but we're not going to talk about it yet. But so yeah, let's go ahead and start into it. So fair warning, everyone, if you have not watched the season finale of Resistance, we are talking major, 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 major spoilers. All of them, spoiling all the things.
All of them.
So definitely watch those episodes if you haven't before. Otherwise, you're going to be like, what the heck is going on here? So you can go watch them now and then come back and hang out with us. Hey.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll wait. I'm just kidding. We're not going to wait very long. All right. All right. So, Anna, let's go ahead and dive into it. So, the season finale, Lord have mercy, was amazing.
Yep.
I absolutely loved
Everything.
it.
Everything.
Yes.
I love that it was smart to cut it where he cut it, like part 1 and part 2.
Mm-hmm.
That moment, that feeling that the first part of the season finale left you was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Or what's
Right.
this? Or just like, and me connecting The Force Awakens with the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And like it gave you like, okay, you guys know what's going on and what happened. But now actually to see it in both different perspectives, because you had the Force Order troopers there and you had Kaz like not knowing what's going on, and then him realizing that they actually just blew up his planet.
Oh, yeah.
So it was just like, oh man, because when you watch the movie, you feel sad. Obviously, you know what's going to happen because we've seen the Death Star before.
Mm-hmm.
But in this moment, it's like, you know what's going to happen, but now you have that feeling to connect it because it's Kaz planet. So it's like, oh my God, that's horrible.
Right.
It broke my heart. Like that's one of the first times that I really fell for the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, well, he's doing all of this to now like have all his dreams crashed.
Absolutely.
Exploded.
Oh, I loved how you were trying to not say that word.
Yeah, it's like, I have to.
It's like I'm trying to be delicate here. No. And I like that we have somebody connected to Hosnian Prime before, because I don't feel like there was a lack of emotional impact with The Force Awakens. It was still, oh my God, that's a lot of people. Like all of those people are gone. But it kind of reminded me and kind of put me back to A New Hope, where Leia watched her planet be destroyed right in front of her eyes. And that's how you felt for that planet, not knowing anything about Alderaan whatsoever. And with Hosnian Prime, we have some literature and stuff like that to kind of tell us about what was going on. We know it was the home of the New Republic, things like that. But now we see this guy who has a personal connection there. His family is there. His entire life that he's always known is there, and it's gone now.
They made it personal.
Absolutely. And it helped me connect with Kaz too, because like at first I was kind of like, I feel like you should be more upset than this. Like,
yeah, same way. And
Yeah.
I feel like it took, because I was like then thinking about it, but I'm like, okay, I should know better. I've studied psychology and neuroscience. Maybe he's in shock. Like in that moment, he just doesn't know what to do, because it's a normal feeling. You know, you're in shock. You see your planet getting destroyed, and it's good that your fight and flight comes in and like, okay, we need to do something about it, because this is just going to keep happening all over the place.
right.
So it was cool to see him also become like a soldier for the Resistance in that moment, and seeing that there was a bigger picture in his mission.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. I completely agree. Throughout these, because I know the last time we did a Resistance review, it was 5 episodes, watched them all and everything, which felt right, you know, having them all together there. So it's not like, oh, there's the piece of stuff. But with this one, so we did watch the last 5, but putting an emphasis on the season finale. One thing, though, that I noticed throughout those 5 episodes is I kept feeling myself being brought back to Padme's line in, I think it's Attack of the Clones. I'm not 100%. No, not Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, where she says, "This is how liberty dies," with thunderous applause. And because it's what happened. Because some of the people were welcoming to the First Order. A lot of them did not want them on the platform. but it was how we've talked about it. It's a separatist tactic. It's like, okay, let me get the foot in the door. I'm just going to put my foot here so you can't close the door on me. Oh, you know what? I need to squeeze in a little bit more. You need some more security. You need some more control, all that kind of stuff. Oh, you know what? You're just not doing a good job at this. Let us handle it for you. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, all liberty just dies. Like, they have no freedom now. People are disappearing. Aunt Z, Hype Phazon, like, thinking about it right now, I'm getting chills because, this stuff really happens.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how sometimes it's like, I love when they're like, oh, but that's just cartoons and it's just movies and whatever. But I'm like, they bring political stuff or they bring real life things that it's also what makes you relate to the show, and it's also what makes you like, man, that's really bad. But at the same time, like, yeah, that's intense, but it really happens and it's crazy.
Right, exactly. And not wanting to get political. That's not what my intention was. But with Star Wars, you can't help it though, because I feel like Star Wars always does a really good job of, because it's Star Wars, but it always shows you how wars are actually started and how one vote of some kind or somebody being invited, the wrong people being invited in to help secure the area and give you peace and control and things like that. It's those manipulative things where it's just that it gets too close and then you kind of, I don't know, like it resonates with you. It's just like, I can see the sequence of events to this. It's not all about the wars. It's a lot about, hey, these are the things of how things can go south really quickly. And this is how it's masked. Watch for this. And I really love that about Star Wars.
And I feel like they do it in this episode. They brought the political, but they also brought like what the First Order is about with bringing the tactics from like the Empire days with Tam. Like, I forgot the name of the girl that's with Tam. That's
Agent Tierney.
Yes.
Yeah.
He does a fantastic job. Like,
absolutely.
She was just like, okay, I'm just gonna brainwash you. Look, I'm gonna show you, which it does come like a right time because Tam, poor thing, doesn't know anything. And, she has like this emotions all over her head. Like, okay, these are people that were like my family, my friends. And now they're coming up with like, this is a guy that fought for the rebels. And this is a guy that fought for the resistance. And he's not even poor. He has a lot of money. So she doesn't know what to do. And then here comes the First Order, like being so nice. Like, hey, come to my suite. Eat all the food that you haven't eaten because you're not in this wealthy class. But look what everything we can provide you. And it's just such a crazy thing how they showed you, because you're never going to think, oh, no, Tam is their friends. She's going to go with them. No, it really happens. Like, you feel betrayal. You're going to be like, no, peace out. I'm going to go with them.
Right.
So that was intense. It was intense.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you on that. Because actually, let's go ahead and talk about Tam, because in all honesty, until these last few episodes where we've seen her kind of battling with what's so bad about the First Order. I don't see what's so bad about the First Order. My grandfather worked for the Empire, all this other kind of stuff. And like, it just goes from like 0 to 100 with her, where, and being in her situation, not knowing what everyone else knows, I could see why she would make the decision that she did.
Oh yeah.
But I did not see that coming.
No,
I was like, surely she'd stay with her friends, no matter what. But in her mind, Tierney has established that she doesn't know these people. These are terrorists, as she was calling them and everything. And talking about, and I thought that was interesting, they brought up how the New Republic disavowed the Resistance, which is exactly what happened too. And I was just kind of like, man, she's really playing that string. But just seeing the progression of Tam's character, I almost want to say that her character is the one that I can't wait to see in season 2. Like, I really want to see what happens, because the implications of her joining the First Order and wanting to be a pilot, there is no chance in the world that they're going to let Tam be Tam. She's going to be brainwashed or brain scraped, as they said in the earlier episodes, which means that the next time we see Tam, she may not be Tam, which is horrifying.
And I feel like it's horrifying, but I kind of want to see it happen. Obviously, me thinking of the dark side always, but no, because like in Rebels, we saw. Oh my god, I'm blanking with names today. We saw Agent Callus.
Yes.
Going from the bad to the good, and we understood because that episode that he's with Seb alone. Like, we understood why he made the decisions he made. Like, we totally... So now I want to see the other side. I want to see, like, the side of, like... Because I feel like in the Empire, in the First Order, there's a lot of people, and we see with Finn, that don't know, they get brainwashed, and then they start becoming somebody else. So I want to see if Tam is going to be... Okay, she's hurt now, so she's going to bring brainwash. Is she going to become, like, a really good villain? Or is she going to be like, okay, I'm gonna be bad, and then come out being good, like the ultimate spy. So like I really want to see what her character is, because she's always that character in the background that I've always like seen, like, okay, you need to be careful with her, you need to be careful. Like, they are putting her there for some reason, because she would always come out in the scenes like, what are you guys doing? What are you guys up to? How come nobody tells me anything? How come he has more privileges than I do? So I would see the jealousy. But I was thinking, oh, it's a jealousy of brothers and, like, you know, friendship. But now it's like, you already hurt me. Like, there's no coming back.
Right. See, I feel like the way that she's... Because, I mean, if they do the... Which, I mean, they're going to do the brain scrape on her. But what was actually brought up to me when I posted this on our Instagram, somebody I had made mention of, oh, well... this is what's going to happen to her. She's going to end up going through the process, reconditioning, all that kind of stuff and everything. She's going to be brain scraped if she allows it to get that far. And they were like, oh, well, Niku's going to have a reason to hit her over the head with a wrench. I was like, hey!
That's a good one. That's a good one. But I also want to see what that process is like, because, I mean, I know they've talked about it in different books and I haven't read them. I think they talked about it in the Captain Phasma book. Or like we kind of see Finn talking about how he got brainwashed, but with him it didn't work. So I like, obviously I know it's a show for kids, and like my neuropsych is like not gonna get its way. But I really want to see what that transitioning from like her being Tam to like somebody to the First Order would look like. Because like you have to give her everything. Like they have everything that she wants, but how are they going to give it to her? Like, that's what I'm like, are you going to meet General Hux? Like, what's going on?
That would be really cool to see. See, now you've got my brain running with the damn thing. Because I don't know. And I almost kind of feel like in seeing her story play out, if it plays out the way that we're theorizing it, we'll get more of an insight into Finn even.
Mm-hmm. So I really want to see, like, if she meets him. Like, are you guys friends? Like, are you that friend? Like, oh, dude, stop being such a, like, whiny boy and, like, just do it.
Right. I wonder if she's going to be on the, not on the Dreadnought, but on the Supremacy. Because, so we're heading towards Last Jedi at this point.
That's true. That's true. So she cannot meet Finn.
Yeah, she won't be able to meet Finn unless she meets him, like, in a hallway or something like that as he's sneaking around. But... if she ends up on the Supremacy or in anywhere near that middle of the battle, I don't know. That could be. I don't feel like she'd survive the Supremacy though, so it's probably not the good one to be on.
Tough one, but
yeah.
No, because I mean, she could end up being the one that's in charge of wherever Kaz is going to be at. So we never know.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. I mean, and bringing it back to how they did the whole speech of General Hux, I thought that was brilliant.
Absolutely.
I saw that somebody on Twitter put like the side-by-side video. What? Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you so we can post it on Instagram. But it's like perfect. It's like super good how they did it. They did it exactly the same. I thought it's just mind-blowing. For me, it just gives you, again, those goosebumps that you saw when it comes to The Force Awakens, and you see him giving that speech, and it's like, oh, man, it's tough.
Right. The only complaint I have with the animation is that I feel like there should have been more red in the face, more crazy on the face. I'm just teasing.
Red there.
Do what now?
he's still not that red there.
See, I don't know. Maybe it's just in my mind then, because like I feel like when he's
The Last Jedi, because I saw somebody posted that too, but then somebody actually took a picture and did a close up, and he's like, he's not that red. It's just that he's outside and his eyes kind of look a little bit, but he's not like full.
Yeah,
like actor.
I give him more credit than's due, I guess.
But it was so good, and seeing the three troopers there, kind of like cheering, that gave me goosebumps because I'm like, oh, you guys are not even there, and like, oh, that's crazy.
It's terrifying thinking about it too, because and I like to think as far as, and this is, I don't know if this is actually in any book or anything. I don't believe it was in the Force Awakens novelization, but like with Finn, how he all of a sudden broke programming and did not follow orders and did not do this and everything. His moment where that ended for him was right there, seeing the horrors of everything that was happening with the First Order. So it was almost, to me, like something inside him couldn't cope with that. And so it was just this, I mean, in all honesty, it's almost like felt like a level of PTSD for him, where it was just like jarring, and it snapped him out of whatever he was conditioned into. And so I don't know. It makes me wonder why more troopers weren't like that, or if there were more during that time where they were like, this is wrong. This is wrong.
Yeah. I feel like I was waiting to see some troopers kind of like for me, when I saw the first scene where they're there watching General Hux, I was like, I think they're gonna look at each other and question like, oh, this guy looks crazy. But then they continued. I was like, okay, these are like brainwashed troopers, because I was thinking the same thing. I wanted to see if a trooper that is like Finn, because I'm like, why? Like, if Finn did it, how come others don't do it? Because we've even seen it in Rebels, where like when Ezra goes into the military base, like there was others that kind of like turned,
right?
But others didn't. So I'm like, oh, so why are you guys like cheering? You're not even there. Like, it's not the same emotion, but I guess like they're so brainwashed. I don't know.
Right. They're just so far gone.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just so much that interests me in that process. Like, I feel like it's a morbid thing to be interested in.
Yes, for sure.
It's like, wow, you guys are kind of dark and twisted, but I don't know. I guess the story impact that would have in getting to know Finn too, because he's one character that, and I love how this has turned to like a Force Awakens versus the Resistance, but with Finn and everything, like I don't know. I've never really had an easy time connecting with him and everything. Okay. And not necessarily that there's anything wrong with his character. It's more of trying to understand him. And I guess not knowing where he comes from. Because like when they went to Canto Bight for the first time, I didn't even really think about that until I watched The Last Jedi like 100 more times. But I didn't really even think about the fact that he's never seen a place like that or been out and about in a place like that, or when Rose kisses him. He's never been kissed like that before, and things like that. Like all of these experiences are for the first time for him, and so I had to look at him through a different lens. But I feel like knowing a little bit more about where he comes from and what horrors were done to him, as far as learning more about the First Order and everything, I feel like that might help a lot of people connect to him more. I don't know. Yeah. Did you feel that way?
Yeah, because with Finn, it's like he's a trooper. So with troopers, we don't really have a connection unless it's like you're working at Clone Wars and then you have that connection with Rex. But those connections are different because they're like he's a hero, or he's like, it's like a different, unless you see like Rebels after and you have the Ahsoka, like it's different. It's still all like the soldier and he's a general. He's a really good guy. But with Finn, it's just like, okay, he just escaped, and then he's always acting in a cowardly way, to put it that way. And then it's just like, okay, it took him a while to do good and no good, but he like it's strange because he's like, okay, he knows that he shouldn't be doing what he was doing in the First Order, and at the same time he just wants to run away and kind of not face the problem. And we see it consistently with him until like the end of The Last Jedi. So it's weird. Yeah, I haven't had like the Finn moment. until like the last end of The Last Jedi, when he was about to sacrifice himself. And it's like, oh, like you finally learned that this is more than just you. So for me, that was a moment where I was like, okay, I really, really now admire how Finn just let go of everything and wanted to sacrifice himself for the for the rest of the crew. And
then even then it was a kind of a dumb move, because like he wouldn't have even made it into there because the ship was falling apart before it even got there. So it was like, I'm gonna be the martyr, and then they're like, no, it's not gonna work. Not gonna work, dude. And then like Rose saves you, and it's not the same. It's a character that you're like more of like a trooper. I don't know. Well, and I guess that, because I mean, with Star Wars, I feel like we kind of expect the hero in everyone at all times, and that they all already know what they're doing and everything, which is why I had a little bit of difficulty with Poe going through that too, where he did go from hotshot pilot to the next movie. He's trying to be leader, and a very poor one at that, because he wiped out his entire squadron in an effort to, like, basically he didn't get that life is still more important than whatever objective you have. And so seeing him go through that, by the end of the movie, I was like, I got you. All right, I'm with you now and everything. Yeah. And I feel like in 9, now that they're solidified and stuff like that, that'll be really interesting. Also, I would not be mad if I saw Kaz in 9, just saying. Me neither. And I feel like the actor that voices him can literally play him. Absolutely. Oh, because they look exactly the same. Yeah. So, yeah, I wouldn't be, even like if it's like just in the background cheering. Right. Rogue One, the same. Have Kaz have the fireball fly by or something like that. Something crazy. With Niku. Yes, Niku. Niku was a true hero in this last episode. I mean, going back to like the maneuver that they did with the Colossus was like amazing. How surprised were you that it could fly? Oh, I was so surprised. Like, I was like, wait, what? I thought it was a little like, that's where I'm like, Filoni, you know what you're doing. I thought it was great. I thought that the point where they found the hyperdrive and they were like, oh, this can fly. I'm like, okay, now there's reasons, like more reasons to cheer. Like, there's a way to get out. And the whole flying scenes with the TIE fighters all around, I think was great. That was what I was looking for this entire season. Yeah, I'm like, it's all about flying and like battling. You guys haven't really done it until the end. And they went all out. Yeah, and I loved how it played out, because the Colossus has always been about everybody, like the community of the Colossus. So the fact that previous episodes they like kidnap High Phazon and Anzi, it also made it like, okay, we're here in the Resistance, but this is kind of like our base and our home. So I like how they did that. Like, let's rescue them because we need them. We need the people of the Colossus. And then when it happens to Yeager and the general, I'm blanking on the name, like always. Captain Doza. Captain Doza. Yeah. I thought which his transition also is amazing. Yes. But it's just those things, like, I felt like it was great that they finished saving and escaping as a team and all together. Absolutely. So I think that was a nice touch, because it wasn't just about Kaz being the hero. It was like about the Colossus. And the fact that they flew after was great. Absolutely. Well, and now Kaz has got basically his own rebel cell too, where it's rebels all over again just 30 years later. Exactly. I did kind of want to have a little theory time with you, because I was thinking about this while we were talking about the Colossus. So at one point, Doza says that the Colossus hasn't flown in 20 years, which would make it 10 years after the Battle of Endor, Return of the Jedi. So yeah. I wonder if the Colossus had anything to do with the Battle of Endor. Because why else would this gigantic ship decide to go out to the Outer Rim, or actually, I think they're beyond the Outer Rim, to Castellon? Why would it decide to go out there where nobody could find it and just park? And he was part of the Empire. He was. So it was like, did you escape? Ooh, it does kind of have Imperial kind of look to it, thinking about it. Like the
Yeah.
dagger kind of look and everything.
Yeah.
The gears are turning.
I know, because now that you were saying that, I was like, what? Because Captain Dose is a very interesting character because he's by the books, but at the same time, he knows, like, he has a really nice relationship with Yeager to the point, like, he understood, and they're opposing sides when it came to their time. They were in opposite sides, but they were able to, like, figure it out. And, like, I felt like Captain Doza and Yeager were both captains of the Colossus, whether it being Captain Doza as like the really like the president, and then Yeager being like the center, like everybody with the people, something like that. So, and I mean, if you were in the Empire, you wouldn't allow somebody from the rebels like being there. So maybe he escaped. Yeager ended up being a wounded person. Well, we know he escaped, but also like you. But yeah, so now I'm thinking too much.
Well, and I'm trying to think of how long it's been that Yeager's been there, because he may not have gone there immediately after. Yeah, and that's the thing is, so Doza said that he left the Empire and it was his own reasons. He never actually says the reason that he left or anything like that. But we have a giant ship, which I would love to be Darksaber, the Rogue One reference. I would love that to be that if that were the case. Let's find special powers with it or something like that. That would be awesome. But we have a ship that kind of has a Imperial-like quality to it, ran by an ex-Imperial officer, that after the Battle of Endor, as we know through the Aftermath books and stuff like that, the Empire just scattered. Like, everybody took what they had and left. Some of them went to go, I think some of them founded the First Order and everything. Some of them tried to continue to fight for the Empire and things like that. What if Doza was just like, you know what, I'm done, peace out, and then just takes his gigantic, awesome ship and plants it in the ocean?
Yeah, because I'm also thinking, like, it could also be, well, his daughter's, I don't know how old she is, because that would be like, was she the reason? But she still looks like very childish, so she's
a teenager. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Well, see, I don't know, because I don't think Kaz couldn't be a teenager. He's Imperial Navy.
Yeah, no, Kaz has to be like 20 something.
Yeah, I want to say he's like 20, 30 something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I don't.
Which I don't know, kind of makes him and Torres.
Yeah, I definitely want to know if, now that we know that it flew and everything, if Captain Doza escaped.
Right.
And then maybe Yeager. I don't know. It's so many interesting theories in my mind right now.
These are the things that keep me up at night.
At work, I'm thinking about it.
Like, I feel like I'm that meme that you always see where the people lying to each other, I bet he's thinking of another girl, and it's like, what about the droid attack on the Wookiees?
Exactly. Yeah. No. And I mean, and I like how they connected beautiful with the movies, because in previous episodes we'd see Poe coming back and doing the mission with Kaz, which I love how they found the planet with the hole. Mm-hmm. I thought that was really cool. And then they switch droids, which I thought was so emotional. Yes. I was like, oh, Kaz is gonna miss BB-8, but I've always thought, like, how long could this be? Because it's about time where he's gonna fly to Jakku, which is not what we see in the episode. So I thought it was really cool how they turned, like, also in that moment, Poe was like, hey, I gotta leave to Jakku. Princess Leia has that mission for me. So I was like, I know where you're going.
I know what you're doing. Definitely. And I felt like when they switched the droids, that's kind of where the show switched. Because it was almost like, hey, I've held you up for this long. I've helped establish you. And swap. Here's your droid. Take CB. And then here we go. Which I feel like I can see where BB-8 was kind of needed. As far as with being a spy for Poe, all that kind of stuff and everything. With Kaz being a spy and all that kind of stuff. Just to kind of get the show in its own direction.
Yeah, I feel like BB-8 is that experienced droid. Mm-hmm. So here, I'm going to give you an experienced droid to train you, and now CB-23, which is almost kind of like the same level, but I need the experienced one to go and run my missions.
Right.
And I was like, okay, yes, that's what it was.
Good call. Which BB-8's seen some stuff. If you've read the Poe comics, there's some crazy stuff in it.
Oh, I have to.
He's been through some things.
Which, by the way, I know this has nothing to do with the show, but I just watched Triple Frontier on Netflix.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my God, Poe, you haven't changed in another movie. It's exactly the same guy. I was like, huh, very interesting.
So he's basically playing the same character?
Yeah, pretty much.
It was cracking me up. I think when that movie, I guess it first came out on Netflix or something like that. I was seeing all over Twitter, different women and stuff like that. Like, oh yeah, I watched it for the plot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
I fell asleep and I kept watching that movie.
There you go.
I'm like, yes.
You showed up for Oscar Isaac, but you stayed for the story.
Viper and Sons of Anarchy and everything in one. Ben Affleck, whatever. But yeah.
There you go. I've yet to watch that one. I want to, though. I've got that one saved for sure.
Yeah, it's good.
Because I mean, and you've got the Mandalorian in it, so I mean,
yep. Especially in the Viper, because I love
Oh
him.
yeah,
So
yep.
yeah.
So cool. So back to
I know.
There's so much to talk about.
I know I'm gonna go off topic, but
Do it.
Poe is actually from where I live. So in Miami, he's actually
really?
from Kendall, the Kendall area, which is where I live right now.
Mhm.
I shouldn't say, but yeah. His dad is actually a pulmonologist, and I have horrible asthma. I went to a doctor's, and this doctor saw my tattoo. It's like Darth Vader, and he was like, "Oh, you know, my supervisor, the son is Oscar Isaac." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, he's retired, but he was like my supervisor." So I thought, I was like, "Oh my God, I'm seen by the guy that said this." So that was
wow.
Yeah, he is from here. So I was like, oh my God, that is so cool.
See, the things that asthma can get you. No, I'm just kidding.
I know, right? No.
That's freaking cool.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I'm from the same place.
Right. And see, if you ever meet him, it's just like, you know what? It's almost like I've met Oscar Isaac.
His house is probably close to where I live.
There you go. There you go. So it sounds like we need to go on a hunt. No, I'm just kidding. Teasing. Not advocating for that.
Don't do it, guys.
Please don't do it.
But yeah, back to the show. I don't know. It was really good. I thought that everything fell into pieces. They all worked together. Niku saves the day. The whole thing with the waters, like suction, was pretty cool.
It was.
Yeah. And I'm very interested to see where they're going to go because, I mean, we knew where they were going to go. And thank goodness Niku said, no, I couldn't do this because we would have known where they were landing.
Yeah.
No.
Well, and it makes you kind of feel like Niku was typing in the coordinates. He was like, "This is too long. Good enough," and it's just that's a Niku thing to do. So,
but it's so many things. It's gonna be good, and I'm hoping that in Celebration they kind of show like season 2 preview or something.
Oh, they've got to. Like, that would be a shame if they didn't.
Yeah, for sure. What are you looking forward for, like, the second season?
I'm really looking forward to Tam's story arc. I'm extremely interested in that. I guess it's the dark, twisted side of me, but I'm very interested in it. Just kind of seeing how the First Order works, because we know all about the Empire.
Yeah.
But we really don't know anything about the First Order. And if we know anything, it's very, very little. So I'm interested to learn more about that. I really want to see where they're going to go, because if he put in part of the coordinates, I wonder how close they will end up to Dakar.
Yeah.
And I'm interested because technically by the end of this season, we're only halfway through Force Awakens at this point.
Yeah.
So we haven't even seen the destruction of Starkiller yet, which I'm interested to see how that's going to go. And if Kaz and his friends had any hand in that as well. I'm going to wager probably not. They're probably going to be like, oh man, that's cool that happened. It's probably going to be the extent of it. But I'm wondering how they're going to address that and everything, and then how long it's going to take us to get to Starkiller blowing up. Because if they resolve that within that first half of the second season, then we're on The Last Jedi, and that's exciting.
Yeah, now I feel like I need to go watch Force Awakens again. Because I'm like, okay, where's the Resistance exactly by the end of The Force Awakens? And can there be a way that Kaz and crew are there?
Well, so the Resistance is they end up at the end of Force Awakens at Dakar. Yeah, because you have Rey and Chewie arrive to Dakar. That's when they get their hug from Leia, all that kind of stuff and everything. And then by the end of the movie, they pack up and she heads off to Ahch-To or Ahch-To, however. Yeah. I've heard like 50 different interpretations of that small little word, but
yeah.
But then she heads off to there, and so they're on Dakar at the beginning of Force Awakens. Yeah. But what's happened is with the destruction of Starkiller, I think this is in the Poe comics, that they actually find out where the Resistance assault launched from initially, and they find out that it was from Dakar. And so that's why the First Order heads straight for their base, where they're like, oh, we know where you're at. Because they had, I don't know if it was a spy or what happened with it, but all I know is that they were able to coordinate or figure out where the Resistance launched from. And then that's why they head straight for that. And so they're not on Dakar for very long, but yeah, that's where they're at the end of Force Awakens.
Yeah. So, oh my goodness.
Yeah. And just thinking about this too, because Resistance technically won't come back until the fall, which will run into Episode 9. So I'm wondering if they'll be finishing up Last Jedi by then in Resistance. Or they should at least be into Last Jedi. I think.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's a lot. I feel like I need to go rewatch Force Awakens and then The Last Jedi.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Yes, because I'm getting the movies confused. Because I recently watched The Last Jedi again. So I'm like, okay, where are you guys right now? So I need to rewatch The Force Awakens. But
yeah. Also loved the mention of Aunt Z taking off to Takodana.
Yes.
I got a friend over there. It's like, I know who your friend is.
No. It was really cool. I was gonna say something I forgot.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. I really hope they show Kylo Ren in season 2. That's what
absolutely.
I really hope that, and I kind of want to see him when, like, for example, if Tam is getting to the base or something, or a spaceship or whatever, that he's just there being like mean or something. Like, right. Having a tantrum or something. Like, let's do it.
Oh man, I didn't think about that. What if Tam ends up on Starkiller? Because it hasn't blown up. No.
Many things to tell you.
No. Oh man.
That's why I'm like, I need to figure out the correct timeline to see who can she see and who can she meet.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, maybe it's too far away for Finn, but
yeah,
she meets Kylo or something. I don't know.
See, I would love it if like she's at least passes Kylo in the hallway or something.
Yeah, like I'll for that.
Right. He doesn't have to speak. Nothing has to happen. Just have him. Just have her pass this ominous being walking by her in full getup and everything. Like, I think that'd be really, really cool.
Now, do we know if all the troopers for the First Order are males?
No, they are not.
Right? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Can she end up becoming a trooper?
She definitely could, I would imagine.
Because if you have such a strong, and I know a lot of people don't really like Phasma, but if you have such a strong female, powerful trooper as Phasma, that there's a lot of troopers that can become like pilots and, you know, the TIE fighter guys. Or what if she becomes like a trooper?
Man.
TIE fighter. Oh my God. I don't know. Now I'm thinking too much.
There's so much that could happen. Tam, we love you. Come back. but not after your trip. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Be a little Thrawn for a while and then come back.
There you go.
Maybe she won't smell us. Maybe Maz Kanata comes out.
That would be cool.
That'd be cool.
That would be very cool. I'd be down with that for sure.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so excited. Like, I'm even more hyped now than I was before we started talking. Just all these things are running through my head, and I'm trying to make sense of all of them right now. I'm like, oh God, what if this? What if this? What if this? It's like, see, this is my favorite thing. I'm so glad that Resistance gave us this, because even with Rebels and all, even with Clone Wars, where we knew where it was going to end, like, it's just so much fun to theorize and like dissect these moments and, oh man, these are the things that we could potentially see going forward and all this other kind of stuff. Like, I don't know, it's just, that's what's fun to me about Star Wars. It's just the potential of the story. Like, you don't have to tell me everything, but I want to know everything.
The thing is that the Resistance have so much to work with, because I mean, right now there's a movie that it just ended, but we know for sure, like, Filoni visits the crew, and probably he's talked to J.J. Abrams before, and like, there's certain things where he's like, oh, well, I need this in your movie.
Oh, absolutely.
And, so that's the interesting part of the Resistance, because they have so much to work with. And there's so much that came out in Force Awakens and The Last Jedi that, even though it's in the background, we still don't know exactly, so that they could put in the Resistance. And it's like, oh, this is what that guy in the back was. Like, there's a lot. There's a lot.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah, just, and this has the potential to be one of the most interconnected stories with the movies and everything. Because, I mean, Rebels, it connected. It definitely connected, but it connected with something that happened, well, for us. It came out 40 years prior. So with this being, like, it literally feels like it's taking shape as it takes shape.
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm just so excited. Like, I'm almost at a loss for words, and that doesn't happen.
And the thing is that it's cool. It's cool even to see, like, the little, let's say, Forces of Destiny videos, or like, those little videos that they come out in the Star Wars Kids, like, that they could even show us so much and still continue for those stories. So yeah, it's gonna be a good one. I think season 2 is gonna start already, like how Rebels started with the Mandalorian arc. I feel like it's gonna start like strong.
Oh, absolutely! Just gonna hit you in the face right off.
And technically, can Hera come out in the Resistance? Ooh. I mean, it was just old, like, over there.
I saw somebody mention something about Jason Syndulla.
And that's what I was gonna say.
Yep.
Oh my God, I need to stop.
Because he'd be about a little over 30 years old at this point. So
perfect. He could be like a general.
Yes. I would love that.
Yes.
I hope he kept his green hair.
Green hair, not blue. Yeah, definitely.
That's exciting. See, I'm like 1,000 times more excited now talking to you. See, this is why I like when we have these chats.
Yes.
So cool. So did you have any last thoughts or anything else you wanted to hit before we close it out?
I mean, we've talked about so many things.
Right.
I'm excited, and I want to see where this story progresses, because this story can have so many different endings. Mm-hmm. Even though it comes to those movies, this is a different crew. So I'm really interested in seeing what's going to happen. And if, like, they're going to stay as the Colossus as a group, or if we're going to see any time where Kaz has to be like, okay, guys, and I have another mission, and who's going to follow him. So I'm very interested in that.
Absolutely. I'm wondering how much of the Colossus actually will stay.
Exactly.
Because some of them are going to be like, you know what, bro? Not my fault. Not my fight. I'm good.
I'm out.
Yeah. So it should be interesting. But now we know, at minimum, so far, the Resistance is not 40 people on the Millennium Falcon. So, hey!
There you go.
We at least have a floating sea spaceship somewhere. So...
somewhere.
So that's cool. I'm really excited for the second season as well, especially with Celebration coming up. I cannot wait to hear more about this, and I'm really excited to hopefully meet the cast of Resistance.
Yes.
I'm pumped. So I'm definitely looking for more. I am a Resistance fan. Wholeheartedly, I am in. This is awesome.
Awesome.
we got to get Kristen on board for sure.
2 episodes.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. So I did show her the episodes that we talked about the previous episode, and she was all in. She's like, man, now I have to start watching this. But she hasn't seen these yet. So hopefully maybe tonight or tomorrow I'll get her on these, and
Nice.
I think she'll be excited. So yeah.
Yes.
So cool. So Anna, thank you for joining me again. I really appreciate it. Do you want to let everybody know where they can find all your social stuff and things?
So you guys can find me at Instagram and Facebook, Twitter at La Geeky Life with 2 eyes. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Sweet. You can find all of her stuff there. And you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Kessel Run Weekly, or on our website, which is like a central hub for everything, our Twitch, everything, kesselrunweekly.com. So definitely check that out, guys. If you have not already subscribed, please subscribe. And if you so feel inclined to, leave us a review on Apple Podcast. 5-star review, will absolutely read it on the show. We would love that very much. Let us know what your favorite resistance I almost said rebels. Our favorite resistance moments are. And we'll happily talk about them on the show. So cool. So I guess we'll go ahead and we'll close that out. So guys, thank you again for watching or listening another episode of Kessel Run Weekly. My name is Danny.
My name is Anna.
And may the force be with you.
Always.